Flash forward 44 years to 1980, when the Mann movie theater that was running this theater stopped showing pictures here because they were showing their new movies and in the new multiplexes at Basemar and Crossroads Shopping Center. This place went dark, and there was a real serious question about whether it would be demolished. And a group of people, including several members of Historic Boulder, banded together to buy the building and save it from demolition. Then they got it landmarked, because that was shortly after the landmark ordinance was adopted in the city of Boulder. And they got it protected in that way. And they also gave a legal easement to Historic Boulder, which ensured that we were going to keep our eyes on it. Flash forward to 2018, when we noticed, and really it was to the credit of Sherry Bells, who was the president of Historic Boulder at the time, that a network of cracks started to appear in the facade of this building. And we brought that to the attention of the owner, Doug Green, and he agreed to have an assessment done to figure out what the problem was. And that began a 7-year-long partnership between Historic Boulder, the building owner, and the manager of the theater, Z2 Entertainment. The assessment identified that the cause of the cracks was a series of leaks in the highest levels of the roof of the building. JVA Engineers was hired to design a repair, and that was completed in early 2022. However, the damage to the facade remained with visible cracks throughout the stucco portion of the front wall. And when you go back into the lobby, you'll see that really big poster that we have. It shows the building riddled with cracks. Look at it today, it's like a baby skin right now. It's fresh and beautiful. But unless those cracks were repaired, the wall would eventually break apart. So JVA was also hired to develop details to repair the wall. And Phil Barlow, Phil, are you here today? Hi, Phil. Barlow Cultural Resources was also brought in to assess the damage, come up with recommendations for the repairs, and especially the replacements to the water damaged windows. And you can see the windows up high on either side that are brand spanking new to look exactly like the original windows back from 1936. And working with Summit Sealants, they all came up with a budget to complete the repairs of $454,000. So how do you raise that money? Well, all along, Historic Boulder has been acting as the expert preservation advisor for the building owner, and we applied first of all, to the Boulder preservation planners for a landmark alteration certificate and received that prior to getting approval for the construction. Then we applied for a major financial grant from the State Historical Fund for half the money to repair the front of the building. And you've heard some of those people. Would you raise your hand from the State Historical Fund? Thank you, folks. Woo. That's the lion's share of the money that came. The other half of the money came from Doug Green, the owner of the building, Z2 Entertainment, who manages this theater and others, and about $80,000 came from fundraising from Historic Boulder reaching out to the community. And it was a really wonderful campaign that touched citizens and businesses alike. The construction repairs began this past August, and to their credit, and Summit Sealant did an amazing job. It was completed this past month on time and within budget, which is amazing considering the inflated construction market in Colorado. Before I introduce the speakers, I wanted to thank all the donors to the Historic Boulder Save the Face campaign, and the leading ones are here today. Alpine Bank, you want to raise your hands where you are? Thank you very much. And Sherry Bells Architect. Thank you very much. Other important supporters have been the Chamber of Commerce, the Daily Camera, the Boulder Reporting Lab, and Rocky Mountain PBS for publicity. Thanks also to photographer Logan Maneker for the creation of the film about the project that you saw in the lobby. Thank you, Logan. To the Historic Boulder Board of Directors for amazing ongoing support, and especially to our remarkable project team. I can't say enough about Ruth McKaiser and Tom Thorpe, Sue Murray, and Trudy Gannon. They have volunteered thousands of hours of their skilled efforts to make this project succeed. Really, their skill sets are incredible. They divided and conquered in a variety of different tasks. Tom was climbing up on the scaffolding. Ruth was diving deep into the applications for the state historic funds and for the easements. So thank you. And I also want to recognize there's been some very important people who've been here today to help us celebrate this accomplishment. As Tim mentioned, part of our mission is not only to preserve buildings, but to celebrate those buildings, and this is a great celebration. And we have Colorado State Senator Judy Amabile here. Judy, thank you. We have Boulder Mayor Aaron Brockett here today. I'm not sure, did Bettina Swigger make it here? Not sure, okay. Yeah, hey Bettina, from the Director of the Downtown Boulder Partnership. We had two of our Boulder County Commissioners here earlier, and we're actually expecting that Congressman Joe Neguse is going to show up. Hey, there he is. So, and we're going to give Congressman Neguse an opportunity to speak after the other speakers go. So just, I wanted to say this preservation effort has renewed the vitality with a better than new front facade. It's ready for its close-ups now when the celebrities come to town. This theater is sure to have a significant role in conveying the innovative and cultured spirit of Boulder to citizens and to new visitors to town. So now I want to give you the opportunity to hear from the representatives from some of the important organizations that have made this restoration possible. First of all, the State Historical Fund. They provided critically important grants which permitted the assessment and construction of repairs. And Marcy, is that who's speaking? No, Marcy Gans? Or do we have Ann McCleve? Who's speaking? Ann McCleve. Thanks, Ann.
Thanks, Len. He said I have to get up close to the microphone. So hopefully you can all hear me. I'm Ann McCleve. I'm the Historic Preservation Specialist for the State Historical Fund. Woo-hoo! Woo, yeah. I've been there a long time, but what my role is once we choose the projects to fund and once they get under contract with us and they get the grant, I'll work with the project team, property owners to make sure that all the work is done according to the Secretary of the Interior standards for preservation and rehabilitation. So I just make sure everything's preserved correctly. What I have to say, what I really came to say is that with this team, I really don't have to worry about it. They know what they're doing, so I had no worries. And I just want to start with Ruth and Tom. You're always so appreciative of State Historical Fund staff and our grants, but I really want to show our appreciation for you and Historic Boulder and your team of consultants and contractors. And to say I met Ruth and Tom in 2012, maybe, give or take, with the Hannah Barker House, that project. Yeah. What a great project that was. We teamed up on that project. It was very successful, mostly because of Historic Boulder and Ruth and Tom. And during that project, we always thought of Hannah Barker every time we were standing in that building during that whole project. You know, we can feel Hannah Barker, and we felt that she would have been proud with what we did with her house. And I think this time, with the Historic Boulder Theater, I think we thought about its significance. It's the Art Deco facade and its importance as a community gathering place for arts and culture and entertainment for almost 90 years. And we just feel that, you know, we can feel that from 90 years ago and what we're doing today, so we can continue that as a community gathering place for another 90 years. And I think with all the work done, it will last. Yes. So anyways, thank you, Ruth and Tom, but I also want to thank Trudy too. Trudy worked a lot on the financial reports that you guys have to submit. That's no easy task either. I wish she was here, so we do appreciate her hard work. And the excellent team of engineers and the consultants and the contractors. That's JVA Engineers, Barlow Consulting, and Summit Sealants. I work with them. I've known them for several years too. They're great to work with. And You guys do a fantastic job preserving the historic materials appropriately and explaining all your preservation methods. I love being on site with you guys and yes, climbing that scaffolding. You guys explaining this is the condition, this is how we got to do it. And I just always learn so much from you guys. So thank you, and thank you for that. I didn't have to really oversee this project so closely, even though I would always love coming to Boulder. Anyways, I'll wrap it up saying it's organizations like Historic Boulder and the consultants and contractors like this team that help the State Historical Fund preserve historic places. And the State Historical Fund could not do what we do without people like you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to recognize a couple other very important people in the audience that I wanted to mention. Brad Mueller's here. He's the director of the planning department for City of Boulder. So thank you, Brad, for coming. Another fan and supporter of historic preservation is Steve Tebow. He's over here. So thank you, Steve, for coming today. Summit Sealants and Restoration will be our next speaker. They've been involved, and you've heard quite a bit about their role. Derek Reese was the amazing overall project manager, and his boss, Jake Holland, I believe, is speaking today. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, come on down, Jake.
Well, first, I just want to say that we're honored and privileged to be a part of this historic project. There's nothing better than being a part of what is now our past and soon to be our very long future. And to be able to put our name on a piece of that future is an absolute honor as a company. I couldn't be more thankful, and so I do want to honor the team that we had here. They are as skilled and talented as we could possibly ask for to complete these types of projects. We couldn't have done it without people like Tom and Ruth, so thank you. Tom, I'll never forget 5 years ago after hanging that historic clock, you said, "Can you go for a walk?" And we walked over here. With that, thank you, Historic Boulder, for your trust in us and allowing us to preserve your past. So thank you. Thank you, SHF. You have had nothing but faith and trust in us for many years now, and we couldn't be more thankful to be a part of the many projects that you're involved with. So we appreciate your support and trust in continuing to preserve our future and the communities that our children will now get to grow up in. So thank you for your trust and support. C2, we want to thank you. You guys have been amazing. Amazing clients, and hopefully clients and friends that we will be able to work with for years to come. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of this project and hopefully many to come. And then JVA for the partnership that we've had for many years and the geeking sessions, as I like to call them, to get through these projects and to ensure that they're going to last for the longest time possible. With that, we just want to say thank you one more time to the community for allowing us to be a part of it and work within it, and we're excited for many more to come.
JVA engineers, I can't say enough about them. I'm an architect, and I've had an opportunity to be working with them for the life of my career, pretty much like 35 years. So, and we are fortunate that they've developed to become one of the top historic preservation engineering companies in the country, and their office is right over there. So they could look out the window and check on the progress every 5 minutes of this building, and they would know if something was out of place. Like the screws had to be aligned, right? So,
Better be good.
yeah. So all joking aside, they are really an impressive organization, and their project manager, Jason Jeffries, is here to talk about his experiences with this project.
Yeah, this is one of the rare times that we get a project where I can literally stand upstairs and look out the building or look out at the building and see what's going on. So just want to say, hey, I'm Jason Jeffries from JVA. I'm a structural engineer by trade. I've been at JVA for about 9 years now. But it is an honor to be here to celebrate the historic reopening of the historic Boulder Theater, a landmark that's been part of this community story for nearly a century, which is, I think, that's a hand of applause right there. As the engineering consultant for the Façade Rehabilitation, I had the privilege of working with a great team dedicated to preserving not just the facade, but a piece of downtown Boulder's soul. Our work began with a condition assessment and construction drawings that were prepared by a preceding consultant, which gave us a solid starting point, a snapshot of the theater's overall condition. From there, we expanded on that work with our own detailed condition assessment to more fully understand what the facade needed. Every crack, every bit of wear and weathering told us something about the facade's life over the years. And our job was to carefully observe that life before deciding how to move forward. Armed with that deeper understanding, we shifted gears into the design phase and produced construction drawings that guided this rehabilitation. Our goal was to make sure the work we designed honored the character while making the facade resilient for decades to come. In the end, our drawings notated areas of potential delamination of the original stucco. There were many. Locations of moderate to even major crack repairs, complete removal of many, and when I say many, many layers of paint, non-breathable paints, which is part of the issue, and then to top everything off with a modern, breathable elastomeric coating that's built to last. Projects like this are always a team effort, so on behalf of our team at JVA, I'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to the State Historic Fund for their generous support in making this rehabilitation possible. To Historic Boulder, especially Tom and Ruth. Tom, I think we climbed this scaffold 8 or 9 times together, probably more. For their dedication in protecting the city's architectural heritage, and to Phil Barlow and Summit Sealants for their incredible skill and craftsmanship in bringing the rehabilitation to life. It's been a real privilege to help rehab the Boulder Theater's iconic facade so it can continue to inspire, entertain, and welcome future generations of Boulder residents and visitors alike. So thank you.
So that wonderful woman who's gesturing wildly over there is Trudy Gannon, and she was part of the Historic Boulder team that worked on this project, and I just wanted to acknowledge her. So Trudy, thank you. Z2 Entertainment is on the top of everybody's tongue in the conversation today because they're center to the success of this project. They're the Colorado's largest independent live music entertainment company. And along with the building owner, Doug Green, they've been instrumental in the partnership to accomplish this project. And Cheryl Liguri, as the Chief Executive Officer, has been a wonderful partner at every step of the way. And Cheryl has an opportunity to give her thoughts about this milestone for her building. Thank you, Cheryl.
All right, I'll be quick. So many thank yous have already been given, but thanks for coming out today. This is a great turnout and a celebration. Many of you might not have realized that this project started, 8 years or so ago with Sherry Bells when she was president of Historic Boulder. And from there, it's been an amazing ride. So big thanks to Historic Boulder, staff, board members, Leonard, Sue, Trudy for your support, and Sherry Bells for starting the project. And you all did so much work behind the scenes that led us to this moment today to get over the finish line for this project. And a shout out to all of the donors to Historic Boulder that also made this possible, so thank you. A huge appreciation for Anne McCleve and the State Historical Fund. Their financial support was crucial in this project to make it happen and to restore this beautiful facade. Summit Sealants, Derek Reese and his team, the JVA team with Jason and then Phil Barlow, continually amazed me at the breadth of their knowledge and the impeccable quality of their work. And it was a pleasure to work with that team. And they came in on time. They even pushed to get done a little earlier so that we could have a Netflix filming here. And I believe it was under budget, which is pretty amazing for construction these days and in Boulder. So thank you so much. It was a true pleasure. I want to acknowledge Doug Green, who's always supported me with everything that I have asked him for to make sure that this building remains beautiful and intact And I think if he hadn't purchased this building in 1995, I think there was talk about it becoming a brewery, a convention center, condos, all with a beautiful facade, but it wouldn't be that vibrant pillar of the community that it is today. So I really want to acknowledge his role there. And thanks to the Z2 team who put up with the construction all summer long, and the noise, and their patience and support for this project as well. And finally, a very special thank you to my guiding forces, Tom Thorpe and Ruth McKaiser, who volunteered hundreds of hours, although Len said thousands, so we can split the difference somewhere there. Their knowledge, expertise, we massaged this project so many times to get to where we are today, and it would not have happened without everybody, but in particular, Ruth and Tom's support. So thank you so much. They never gave up, nor did I. And the Boulder Theater turns 90 this January. So for another 90 years, keep coming. Keep your eye out for some special events in 2026. And again, thank you for everything.
Okay, so we have one more speaker, and then we're going to do a ribbon cutting right up here. So thank you for hanging in there. We are really very fortunate to have a person with as much stature as Congressman Joe Neguse to be here and grace this celebration and give it a little extra oomph to celebrate its milestone of christening this revival of this building facade. So Congressman Neguse, it's all.
Well, thank you, Leonard, for that kind introduction, and good morning, and it's great to be here in Boulder, and I know that I think, the only thing standing in the way between all of you and the wonderful ribbon cutting for this beautiful facade, so I will keep it brief, but I want to just say thank you to Leonard, to Melanie, to Cheryl, to Doug, to the Boulder community, to everyone who made this incredibly important project possible, to Historic Boulder for their efforts, not just with respect to this particular project, but for always being there for so many of the institutional projects within this community. And that includes, by the way, the long history that Melanie was just sharing with me with respect to the Boulder Theater. Some 50, 60 some odd years ago, when Historic Boulder stepped up to the plate to help preserve this wonderful institution. One of my favorite quotes is from George Bernard Shaw, famous Irish playwright, once said that without art, the crudeness of reality makes the world unbearable. And that certainly is something I'm feeling today for a variety of different reasons. But what I would say to you is I think the Boulder Theater encapsulates, in my view, that essence of what George Bernard Shaw was trying to communicate, which is that so much beauty, so much promise, so much opportunity, so much of what we appreciate in life comes from art. And the art that's on display here at the Boulder Theater each and every night, and has been on display each and every night for the better part of the last 90 years, is what has made Boulder in part so special. And I know there's not a single person here who does not have a distinct and visceral memory that they can lean on right now as I say it, of an experience that they had here at the Boulder Theater, right? One of my favorite memories was on one of our first dates, my wife and I, 16 years ago, almost 16 years ago, here at the Boulder Theater, and we're still married, so it's gone, Boulder Theater has, in any event, I say that only to suggest that I couldn't be more excited and grateful that this community and that so many luminaries here from, Steve Tebow and, of course, your mayor, the folks in government, the folks outside of government, the wonderful contractors, have all stepped up to the plate to ensure that countless other residents of our community and folks from across our country will be able to build the kind of memories that we've all been so lucky, really blessed, to be able to build as a result of the Boulder Theater. So thank you all so much for your efforts. And without further ado, I'll hand it back over to Leonard and do the ribbon cut.
So yeah, thank you, Congressman Neguse. You're so eloquent. I love it. I would love to have the following people come up here and hold the ribbon, and Cheryl front and center, Cheryl Liguri, We've got Congressman Neguse. We've got the preservation team, Ruth, Tom, Sue, and Trudy. The Summit Sealant representatives coming up here. Jason Jeffries, Mayor Brockett, come on up here. Tim Plass, can you come up and, good, we got the ribbon started. State Senator Judy Amabile, the key donors, Alpine Bank and Sherry Bells. Bettina Swigger, come on up. And the fundraising and ribbon cutting planning team, Kim Dunning, Stephen Wallace, Mike Kircheval, and Melanie Muckle, who's our amazing multitasking administrator of Historic Boulder. So please, right here in front of this lectern is your spot. We do.
Good. Do we have scissors? Here we go.
The biggest scissors I've ever seen.
Cheryl!
All right. Okay. So on behalf of Historic Boulder, I thank everyone for coming out to celebrate this important day in the life of this cultural treasure. We are delighted to once again spearhead the appreciation and preservation of buildings that epitomize the remarkable spirit of Boulder. Remember, the Boulder you know and love didn't just happen. Preservation is part of the success of this town.
Boulder!
We welcome you to become a member of Historic Boulder to safeguard other important reminders of Boulder's past. And during this season of Thanksgiving, we also appreciate your donations to help us continue the work of preservation in Boulder. And please grab a complimentary bag of popcorn over at our membership table to call to mind the happy memories that we've all had here at the Boulder Theater, including today. Thank you.